And welcome to Mastermind with me, John Humphreys. In the spotlight tonight are Lawrence Cook, an industrial chemist whose specialist subject is Joe Calzaghe; Thomas de Bock, a motorsport engineer who'll be answering questions on the Beach Boys; Sarah Napper, a solicitor, her subject Joseph Stalin; and Claire Barrow, a trust and estate practitioner whose specialist subject is the Gospel of John. Tonight, 4 people who consider themselves experts, at least on their specialist subjects, but when we get to the general knowledge round, nobody is an expert for the very simple reason that nobody knows what to expect. What we do know is one of the 4 here tonight will go through to the semi-finals and will be in with a chance of becoming Mastermind champion. So, let's find out who that will be and ask our first contender to join us, please. And your name is?
Lawrence Cook.
Your occupation?
Industrial chemist.
And your chosen subject?
Joe Calzaghe.
Joe Calzaghe, world champion boxer, nicknamed the Pride of Wales and the Italian Dragon. Here we go, 2 minutes. Calzaghe began his boxing training at a club that was little more than a ramshackle shed in a town in South Wales. Which town?
Newbridge.
Yep. When Calzaghe started at the Newbridge Club, it was run by a boxing coach together with his assistant, Dennis Rogers, who acted as his principal trainer until Joe's father, Enzo, took over as his full-time coach when Joe was in his late teens. What's the name of this coach?
Paul Williams.
Yep. In his autobiography, Calzaghe recalls how he was ostracised and bullied in his 3rd year at secondary school. He said, "I became like a little hermit and just sat away in the corner." What was the name of that school?
Oakdale.
Yep. As an amateur, Calzaghe lost his first official fight at the age of 10 in a match in Gwent. What was the name of his opponent?
Ian Raby.
Chris Stock. When he turned professional in 1993, Calzaghe initially signed up with the management team of Mickey Duff and Terry Lawless, but switched to a rival boxing manager and promoter in 96. Which promoter?
Frank Warren.
Yep. At the Royal Albert Hall in October 95, he fought the Scottish boxer Stephen Wilson for the vacant British super middleweight title and won the bout by technical knockout. And which round did the referee stop the fight?
8.
Yep. Which former world champion did Calzaghe beat on points in Sheffield in October 97 to win the vacant WBO super middleweight title? Before the fight, his opponent told him, "You've never been into the trenches. I've been there, and that's where I'm going to take you."
Chris Eubank.
Yes. In his autobiography, he wrote that even after 20 title defences, he trained like I've always trained. I train like the...
Tiger.
Challenger. Who refereed Calzaghe's WBO super middleweight title defence against Sakio Bika in October 2006? During the fight, Bika had a point deducted in the 5th round for illegal use of his head.
Coyle.
Mickey Vann. In 2009, Calzaghe took part in the 7th series of Strictly Come Dancing and was voted off in week 5 of the competition. Who was his professional dance partner?
Chris Turianov.
Yep. In June 2003, an American boxer, the so-called Slammer from Alabama, inflicted the first knockdown of Calzaghe's professional career. It came in the 2nd round during Calzaghe's 13th defence of his WBO super middleweight title. What's the American boxer's name?
Byron Mitchell.
Is correct. No passes, Lawrence. You have 8 points.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Thomas de Bock.
Your occupation?
Motorsport engineer.
And your chosen subject?
The Beach Boys.
The Beach Boys, the American surf rock band formed in California in 1961. 2 minutes on them. Here we go. The Beach Boys were formed by the 3 Wilson brothers with their cousin Mike Love and their friend Alan Jardine. Which of the 3 brothers was the eldest?
Brian.
Yep. In November 1964, the band gave their first television performance in the UK on a music show on ITV and played the songs I Get Around and When I Grow Up to Be a Man. Which television show?
Top of the Pops.
Ready, steady, go. Which song was released as the B-side to the band's 1965 UK hit single California Girls? Brian Wilson later complained that his voice was too shrill on it and he sounded like a girl.
Let 'Em Run Wild?
Yep. The cover photo for the Beach Boys' classic 66 album, Pet Sounds, was taken by George German in the petting pen at a zoo in California. Band members were reputedly later accused by zoo officials of mistreating the animals. Which zoo?
San Diego.
Yeah. The band reached number 3 in the UK singles chart in 66 with a song that had been a hit in America for the region since 61. What's the title of the song?
Scoop John B.
Barbara Ann. The band topped the UK singles chart for the first time in November '66 with a song that cost an estimated $50,000 to make, and at the time was reputedly the most expensive pop song ever made. Its electro-theremin segment alone had cost $15,000. Which song?
Good Vibrations.
Yeah. An artist and illustrator who also worked with the Beatles and Frank Zappa painted the cover image for the Beach Boys' '67 album Friends. The band members are depicted in a psychedelic style popular at the time. What was the name of the illustrator?
Dean Torrance.
David McMacken. On April the 27th, '71, the Beach Boys jammed at the Fillmore East in New York with another popular California band with a set that included the Lieber and Stoller song Searchin'. Who were the other band?
Grateful Dead.
Yep. Which anti-pollution song on the '71 album Surf's Up features the lyrics, "Toothpaste and soap will make our oceans a bubble bath, so let's avoid an ecological aftermath"?
Don't Go Near the Water.
Yep. On June 3rd, '72, the Beach Boys performed at the Third Garden Party at a venue in London. At one point, Elton John joined them on keyboards and sang. What was the venue?
Pass.
The song Don't Worry, I've started, it's all finished. Don't Worry Baby, which features on the '64 album Shut Down Volume 2, is one of several tracks to have been co-written by Brian Wilson with a friend and radio personality. What was his name?
Roger Christian.
Is correct. You had one pass, Thomas. Crystal Palace was that venue for the Third Garden Party. You have scored 7 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Sarah Napper.
Your occupation?
Solicitor.
And your chosen subject?
Joseph Stalin.
A Soviet dictator whose reign of terror led to the deaths of countless millions of people. 2 minutes on him, starting now. Stalin was born in 1878 in the small Georgian town of Gori. When he was a young teenager, he moved from there to train for the priesthood at the seminary in which city?
Tiflis.
Yep. As a young militant, Stalin contributed to an illegal Marxist newspaper founded in Baku by Lado Keshkafeli in 1901. What word meaning struggle was the title of the paper?
Bird-Zola.
Yep. In 1913, after several years of arrests and escapes, Stalin was sentenced to 4 years exile, during which time he lodged for a while with a Paraprigin family in a Siberian village. Which village?
Kurika.
Yep. In April 1917, Stalin was elected to the Central Committee of the Bolshevik Party with the third most votes, behind only Lenin and another leading party member. What was his name?
Trotsky.
Zinoviev. During the civil war that followed the Russian Revolution, Stalin was dispatched to a city in the Volga region to secure grain supplies, where he arrived on June the 6th, 1918. Although the city would later be renamed. What was it called at the time?
Tsaritsyn.
Yep. Prior to Lenin's death in 1924, 3 members of the Politburo, all opposed to Trotsky, assumed collective power before Stalin gradually took sole control. This so-called troika consisted of Stalin, Zinoviev and...
Kamenev.
Yep. Whom did Stalin appoint as head of the secret police known as the NKVD in 1936? In this role, he oversaw the Great Terror of mass purges and executions until his removal in November 1938.
Yezhov.
Yep. Before Churchill himself visited Moscow in 1942, British and American delegations had flown out for talks with Stalin on Allied aid for Soviet forces in September the previous year. Who led the British delegation?
Beaverbrook.
Yep. In late July 1942, Stalin issued an order which warned Soviet soldiers of severe punishments if they were to retreat, and it became known as not a step backward. What was the number of that notorious order?
270.
227. Stalin died after a stroke in March 1953. On the day after his death, his title as chairman of the Council of Ministers was transferred to a different member of the Communist Party Central Committee. What was his name?
Malenkov.
Yep. During the Second World War, a new Soviet national anthem was adopted with lyrics that praised Stalin. It replaced what earlier anthem?
The Internationale.
That is correct. No passes, Sarah. You have 9 points. And our final contender, please. And your name is?
Claire Barrow.
And your occupation?
Trust and estate practitioner.
And your chosen subject?
The Gospel of John.
A beloved disciple whose account of the life of Jesus focuses strongly on his divinity. Here we go, 2 minutes. Simon, the son of Jonah, is later named Peter by Jesus and appointed as the rock on which he will build his church, according to John, who originally brought Peter to Jesus.
Andrew.
Yes. Festivals are significant factors in the account of this gospel. What major feast does John say is imminent when Jesus fed the 5,000?
Passover.
Yes, in the miracle at the pool of Bethesda, some people were outraged when Jesus instructed the healed man to take up his bed and walk. What reason is given in the text for their outrage?
It was the Sabbath.
It was. On the news of Lazarus' illness, most of the disciples were afraid to re-enter Judea because of the threats to stone Jesus for blasphemy. Which disciple says, "Let us also go that we may die with him"?
Thomas.
Yeah. In the Garden of Gethsemane, just before his arrest, Jesus identifies himself with the words, "I am he." The physical response of the officers of the high priest is to step backwards and do what?
Pass.
What's the name of the expensive perfume distilled from the roots of a plant from the same family as valerian used by Mary of Bethany to anoint Jesus' feet? Pope Francis has a sprig of this plant on his coat of arms.
Spikenard.
Yeah. What's the name of the brook crossed by Jesus and his disciples on their way to Gethsemane? Its name means turbid or muddy. And it's the same brook that King David had crossed in his flight from Jerusalem during the rebellion of his son Absalom.
Cedron.
Yeah. In the post-resurrection appearance by the Sea of Tiberias, the disciples have fished all night and caught nothing. How many fish do they catch after they followed Jesus' instructions from the shoreline?
153.
He is correct. When Jesus cures the man who was born blind, some people claim he'd never been blind in the first place. Which two people are called to give evidence that he had indeed been blind?
His parents.
Yep. Which event, uniquely recorded in John's Gospel and containing a significant intervention by the Blessed Virgin Mary, forms the second luminous mystery of the Rosary?
Pass.
Jesus' encounter with the much-married woman at Jacob's well occurs in the midday heat on the outskirts of a Samaritan city. Which one?
Sychar.
Correct. You had two passes. That event that contained a significant intervention by the Blessed Virgin Mary was the wedding at Cana. And what the officers of the high priest did when they heard Jesus say, "I am he," is they prostrated themselves. They fell to the ground.
Oh, I was going to say that.
Ha! Always take a guess. It's always worth it. However, you have still done very well because you have 9 points.
Thank you.
Good, tight specialist subjects around there. Let's have a look at all the scores. In fourth place with 7 points, Thomas. Third place with 8 points, Lawrence. Joint first place, 9 points apiece, Sarah and Claire. So, it is now the general knowledge round. And if there is a tie at the end of it, then the number of passes is taken into account and the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they are tied on passes as well, then there has to be a tie break. So, let's ask Thomas to join us again, please. You got 7 points, Thomas, in this very close contest. You got 2.5 minutes of general knowledge. Loads of time to catch up and overtake the field. Here we go. The personnel department of an organization is often known by the initials HR. What do those letters stand for in this context?
Human relations.
Human resources. An 1888 artwork entitled The Yellow House, sometimes known as The Street, was painted by a Dutch artist who lived in the building at the time. Which artist?
Van Gogh.
Yes. From 1948 to 76, Quezon City was the national capital of a country in Eastern Asia. Which country?
Philippines.
Yep. Henry VIII is buried in St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle. Which of his wives is also buried there?
Pa.
Jane Seymour. The comedian and regular game show panellist born Christopher Collins in the West Midlands in 1957 became the host of the relaunched television series Room 101 in 2012. What's his professional name?
Pass.
What was the name of the British actor known for roles such as Bilbo Baggins in the Lord of the Rings films and the android Ash in Alien? He died in June 2020 at the age of 88.
Pass.
A famous fence on the Grand National Course at Aintree is named after a jockey who was unseated there from his horse Conrad in the inaugural running of the race in 1839. Which fence?
Pass.
Which author won the 2001 Nobel Prize in Literature? He set many of his early novels in Trinidad, where he was born.
Naipaul.
Yep. Which big cat native to the Americas has the scientific name Panthera onca? Although it doesn't have stripes, it's known in some Spanish-speaking countries as El Tigre or Tigre Americano.
Puma.
Jaguar. What was the surname of Arthur, a brewer who leased a premises at St. James's Gate in Dublin in 1759? In the 1770s, he began to produce the dark-coloured beer for which he became famous.
Guinness.
Yep. In 2017, the politician Carrie Lam was selected as the 4th chief executive of a special administrative region of China. Which one?
Hong Kong.
Yep. A word that's often used to refer to a belief in male superiority originates from the names of a character in 19th century French vaudeville who idolized Napoleon long after the fall of his empire. What word?
Chauvinism.
Yeah. In May 1940, the Secretary of State for War, Anthony Eden, called for men to enroll in a new force called the Local Defence Volunteers. By July, almost 1.5 million men had enrolled, and the name of the force was changed to what?
Pass.
What's the title of the 1841 ballet with music by Adolphe Adam, which tells the story of a peasant girl who dies of a broken heart and is subsequently recruited into a band of vengeful spirits?
Pass.
30 centimetres are equal to how many inches to the nearest inch?
12.
Yeah. The Australian actress who began playing Donna Friedman in Neighbours in 2008 went on to star in the films The Wolf of Wall Street, Suicide Squad and I, Tonya. What's her name?
Margot Robbie.
It is indeed. 5 passes, Thomas. The 1841 ballet was Giselle. The local defence volunteers eventually became the Home Guard. Beecher's Brook is that famous fence in the Grand National. Sir Ian Holm is the name of the British actor, known for his Bilbo Baggins and all the rest of it. Frank Skinner was the comedian who took over room 101, most of which you probably knew anyway. But there you go. That's the effect of the chair and all that. You have, Thomas, now a total of 15 points. And now Lawrence again, please. And Lawrence, you start out with 8 points, and you get 2.5 minutes on your general knowledge, starting now. What Latin term, often abbreviated to the letters ETC, translates as "and the rest"?
Etc.
Yep. What new name was given to East Pakistan when it declared independence in 1971? The name means "land of the Bengalis."
Bangladesh.
Yep. Which film in the Carry On series had the tagline, "The Carry On team refusing to let sleeping bags lie"?
Carry On Camping.
Yeah, the branch of dentistry concerned with the treatment of irregularities of the teeth has a name derived from Greek words for straight and tooth. What's the name?
Orthodontics.
Yep. From 2009 to 17, an American rapper had UK #1 albums entitled Relapse, Recovery and Revival. Which rapper?
Eminem.
Yep. In 2015, which former Coventry City, Manchester United and England footballer joined the presenting team of the BBC One property series Homes Under the Hammer?
Dion Dublin.
Yep. The Swiss architect Charles-Edouard Jeanneret is regarded as one of the pioneers of modern architecture. He's better known by what name?
Le Corbusier.
Yeah. What five-a-side sport was invented by a PE teacher named James Naismith in Massachusetts in 1891? The playing positions include point guard, shooting guard and power forward.
Basketball.
Yep. Which Irish author wrote the Booker-nominated 2018 novel Normal People? Her debut novel Conversations with Friends was published the previous year when she was 26.
Rooney.
Yep. Oology is a branch of ornithology concerned with the study of what items?
Eggs.
Yep. An American-based general interest magazine compiled from articles in other publications was founded by DeWitt Wallace and Lila Atchison and first published in 1922. What magazine?
Marie Claire.
Reader's Digest. What's the name of the valve in an internal combustion engine which regulates the intake of air or fuel? Its name is also a word that means to choke or strangle someone.
Pass.
A famous artwork painted by Titian in the 1520s and in the collection of the National Gallery in London depicts the Greek god Bacchus as he leaps from his chariot towards a Cretan princess. What's her name?
Europa.
Ariadne. In the run-up to the 2012 London Olympics, the Royal Mint issued 29 new sport-themed designs of one denomination of coin. What denomination?
£2 coin.
50 pence. In Rupert Brooke's poem, The Old Vicarage, Grantchester, the hands of the church clock stand at how many minutes? 2, 3?
5.
10. An essential ingredient of Worcestershire sauce is the extract of a fruit whose name is derived from the Arabic for Indian date. What fruit?
Fig.
Tamarind. What word for a collapse of a large amount of earth and rocks from a cliff or mountainside is used in politics to refer to an election victory in which one party receives an overwhelming majority of the votes?
Landslide.
Is correct. You'll be cross with this one because...
Carburetor.
No, it's throttle, the name of the valve, and it means to choke or strangle someone as well.
Yeah.
Told you you'd be cross. Anyway, you now have reached a total of 19 points.
Thanks.
And now Sarah again, please. And you start out, Sarah, with 9 points. The score to beat is, as we speak, 19. 2.5 minutes in which to do it. Here we go. Which South American country has a name that's the Spanish word for equator?
Ecuador.
Yep. At the Olympics, the rings, the parallel bars and the horizontal bar are men's events in which sport?
Gymnastics.
Yep. From 1896 to 1967, Alfred Austin, Robert Bridges and John Masefield were successive holders of what literary title?
Pulitzer Prize.
Poet Laureate. In 2017, Maria Balshaw was appointed as the director of a group of British art galleries. What group?
The Tate.
Yep. Who succeeded Jacob Zuma as president of South Africa in 2018?
Mbeki.
Ramaphosa. A television drama series based on a trilogy of memoirs first shown in 2016 stars Keely Hawes as a widowed mother of 4 children who moves with her family from Bournemouth to Corfu in 1935. What's the title of the series?
The Durrells.
Yep. Which polar explorer died in 1928 after the aircraft he was in was lost, thought to have crashed in the Arctic while on a mission to rescue the Italian explorer Umberto Nobile?
Shackleton.
Amundsen. The theme song for the 1995 film GoldenEye was performed by an American-born singer and was a top 10 single for her in the UK chart. Which singer?
Tina Turner.
Yep. What drug, often prescribed as an anticoagulant or blood thinner, gets its name partly from the initials of the Wisconsin Alumni Research Foundation, which funded its development?
Warfarin.
Yep. Which British actor, often cast as a suave villain, provided the voice of the tiger Shere Khan in the 1967 film The Jungle Book? He married the actress Zsa Zsa Gabor and later her sister Magda.
Terry Thomas.
George Sanders. What's the SI unit for illuminance equal to 1 lumen per square metre? Its name is the Latin word for light.
Lux.
Yep. Which actress and singer, known for her earlier roles in the films Beaches and The First Wives Club, returned to the Broadway stage in 2017 and won a Tony Award for her performance in the musical Hello, Dolly?
Bette Midler.
Yep. In 1817, the German nobleman and inventor Baron Karl von Reis demonstrated his 2-wheeled Laufsmaschine, or running machine. It was one of the earliest forms of what non-mechanized mode of transport?
Treadmill.
Bicycle. The 2010 fact-based drama The Social Network has the tagline, "You don't get to 500 million friends without making a few enemies." The film tells the story of the creation of what internet site?
Facebook.
Yep. Which Indian city has an international airport named after Indira Gandhi, one of the country's former prime ministers?
Mumbai.
New Delhi. A roast that consists of 2 racks of lamb joined together at each end to form a circle with the scraped rib bones pointing upwards is named after what item of regalia?
Necklace.
Crown. Yeah, easy to do. It was a pretty important point there, I'm afraid, Sarah, because you now have a total of 18 points. And finally, Claire again, please. And Claire, you start out with 9 points as well, and the score to beat is still 19. So let's see if you can do it to get through to the next round. Here we go. Zurich is a major city and financial centre in which European country?
Switzerland.
Yep. In the traditional nursery rhyme, rub-a-dub-dub, the 3 people in the rhyme are referred to by their occupations. They're a butcher, a baker, and...
A candlestick maker.
Yep. What word from the Greek for without appetite precedes nervosa in the name of an eating disorder characterised by fear of weight gain and refusal to eat food?
Anorexia.
Yep. Shake hand and pen hold are the 2 main techniques of gripping the bat in which sport?
Cricket.
Table tennis. Which empire was described as the sick man of Europe by Tsar Nicholas I in 1853? It was dissolved after the end of the First World War.
Ottoman.
Yeah. Which Welsh singer first entered the UK singles chart with her version of the Banana Boat song in 1957? 50 years later, she performed at the Glastonbury Festival in the so-called Legends slot and memorably wore a pink evening dress and decorated green Wellington boots.
Shirley Bassey.
Yes. The name of a society of artists founded in London in 1848 is often abbreviated to the letters PRB. What do those letters stand for?
Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood.
Correct. What's the name of the American filmmaker credited as the director of the 1939 films Gone with the Wind and The Wizard of Oz?
Elia Kazan.
Victor Fleming. What adjective from the Latin for chest or breast is used to describe the pair of fins on either side of a fish just behind its head?
Pectoral.
Yes. A quiz show which originally ran from 1988 till 2003 was relaunched in 2014 with Sandy Toksvig as host. Which quiz show?
15 to 1.
Yep. Which 1977 horror novel by Stephen King, set mainly in the snowbound Overlook Hotel in Colorado, features the murderous Jack Torrance? It was adapted into a 1980 film by Stanley Kubrick.
The Shining.
Yep. What Japanese word has come into use in English To refer to a savoury taste such as that of monosodium glutamate, it's often considered one of 5 basic tastes.
Umami.
Yep. Which 1968 rock musical features the songs Good Morning Starshine and Aquarius? At the time, it was controversial because of its on-stage nudity.
Hair.
Yep. The National Institute for Health and Care Excellence provides guidance and advice on health and social care in the UK. It's usually known by what acronym?
Nice.
Yep. Which gas with the chemical formula C3H8 is widely used, along with butane, in liquefied petroleum gas?
Propane.
Yep. The Golf Champion Trophy, which has been presented to the winner of the Open Championship each year since 1873, is more commonly known by what nickname?
The old mug.
The claret jug. A wind that measures 11 on the Beaufort scale is categorised as a violent storm. What word is used to define an even stronger wind that measures 12 on the scale?
Hurricane.
Hurricane is correct. No passes, Claire. 23 points. Well, we have a clear winner. Let's have a look at all the scores. In 4th place with 15 points, Thomas. 3rd place, 18 points, Sarah. 2nd place, 19 points, Lawrence. 1st place with 23 points, Claire. Which means, of course, that Claire goes through to the semi-finals. Congratulations to her. And if you would like to be a contender in the next series, do go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind, and you can follow us at Mastermind Quiz. And do join us again next time for more Masterminds. And thanks for watching. Goodbye.
It was very special sitting in the black chair. I have been on some other quiz shows, but this was nothing like any of them. My specialist subject was the Gospel of John. It's something I do know a little bit about as a Christian, and it was an absolute pleasure to be able to go into it in depth.
You have 9 points.
Waiting for the general knowledge round was quite nerve-wracking because Lawrence had scored really well. I think he got 10. And when I've been practicing with the rounds from the last series, I'd be getting 10s and 11s mainly. But as the questions came, and as they keep being things that I knew, I thought, oh, this is okay. Anorexia.
Yep.
Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood.
Correct.
Hurricane.
Hurricane is correct. No passes, Claire. 23 points.
Now that I'm through to the semi-final, I'm looking forward to revising my next subject, the Russian-Japanese War, which is something that I know absolutely nothing about, and I'm doing it from scratch. It would be an awesome achievement to get through to the final because it's such a prestigious show, and it would just be really special.